Good evening, Tottenham fans. Big question on everyone's lips at the moment is Christian Romero world class? Now, I really want to look into this. And remember, this is subjective. This is my opinion. People will have different opinions. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It's just the way you view a player. Now, in my opinion, we have a squad that's full of injuries. We have a manager that I don't think is the best manager in the world. We've also got a board that does not want to invest in this club. So there's a whole host of problems at this club. It's not just this one individual player. So don't think that I'm just blaming this all on him. But because this debate is going around today, I want to talk about Christian Romero and whether he's world class, or are we just overrating our players? Because you've got to remember, he's part of a team that is getting us 6 points from relegation at the moment. Crystal Palace have just won today, so we're now below Crystal Palace. You know, the same Crystal Palace that have lost Eze, lost Elise, lost Joachim Anderson, lost Conor Gallagher, lost other players. Like, there's more that I probably haven't even mentioned yet. And they're above us in the league. They're not signing any top players to replace these players, but they're still above us. That's saying that we have a problem somewhere. And what is the issue? Now, I'm going off on a tangent. Let's talk about Christian Romero, whether I think he is a world-class player. Now, for me, let's not forget he's been massively injury-prone over the seasons. And let's not forget as well, remember the two main incidences really where he was injured for Spurs and he played for Argentina. Now, I think the first one was before the World Cup 2022, where he wasn't playing any games for Spurs, but fully fit and ready for Argentina. And they went on to win the World Cup. And it wasn't just Romero that year. Remember, there was 3 or 4 other Argentinian players that were also supposedly injured, but all ended up playing fully fit for Argentina. I think Lionel Messi was one of them, by the way. I think Di Maria was another one. Dybala was another one. So when we have this picture of Romero and he really cares for the club and he's calling out the board, he cares, he's a true captain. Just don't forget when everybody was talking about him being unfit for Spurs, but fit for Argentina, even though we pay his wages. He wasn't caring much then, was he? Also, if you think he's calling out the board because he cares about Tottenham Hotspur, then you're seriously, seriously wrong. He's calling out the board because he wants out. He wants out of this club. And he's just signed a 5-year contract. And the only way he can get out is if he's pushed out. And if he forces them to push him out, then he can get his dream and leave, because that's what he wants to do. He's not calling them out because he cares about Spurs. He's part of the problem why we're going to be in this relegation battle, and we are in a relegation battle. And if we do get relegated, do you seriously think Romero's going to care and stay at this club? You watch how much he cares when we get relegated. He'll be gone first contract that's offered to him. So don't believe everything that you read, honestly, because he's not doing it for those reasons. So people are saying the opposite. They're saying he really cares. They're saying that he's a world-class player. I'm trying to think of incidences where he's had a run of games in a season where he's been world-class, because I can't think of a season where he's played all season and he's been world-class in that whole season. Maybe one for Conte, under Conte, but it was a lot of defensive work to do that year. I think he was okay then. But there's many seasons where his discipline has been dreadful. He gets multiple yellow cards nearly every single season. He's injury prone. He makes many mistakes. He's always out of position. Let's look into why he gets yellow cards for a start. Now, if you've ever been a footballer in your life, you'll understand what I'm about to say and the following I'm about to say about why he gets so many yellow cards. One could be maybe he's just not quick enough. Maybe he lacks pace. Maybe the speed of the Premier League catches him out time and time again. And you see him often pulling players back and getting a cheap yellow card, or sliding in when he doesn't need to because he's out of position. And that takes me to overcommitting. Maybe he overcommits, and the reason why he overcommits, maybe because he's lacking positional awareness, and he has to overcommit into challenges because he's afraid that if he doesn't hit them hard, they'll easily get round him. So he's always on the front foot to put a tackle in because he's afraid of one-on-one defending. Maybe there's a lot of his attributes that cause him to get yellow cards. He's not the best in the air either, so he has to hold players a lot rather than try and compete with them in the air. He's not the best. I think his average win rate aerially is 45 to 50%. So he's sometimes winning under half of his aerial duels. He's constantly passing to the opposition. Amount of times this season, especially at the beginning of the season, people have quickly forgot this as well. Amount of times he's leading errors onto chances was unreal. He was getting the ball, he stops, he slows it right down, and then he just passes it. Even when we're trying to keep a quick pass rate up, he stops the ball, walks forward with it, and then passes it to the opposition. There's times where he's not even looked over his shoulder, tried to volley it to the goalie, and it set up a goal for the opposition. Like, he's injury prone, he's error prone, he's poor in the air, he's discipline is dreadful. Now, when people say, well, the referees are against him and all this sort of stuff, if you looked at other players, and I'd looked into this, so trust me, Virgil van Dijk has made 9 fouls this season. 9. Gabriel for Arsenal has made 10. Saliba has made 11. Romero's made 28 fouls this season and got 8 yellow cards and 2 red cards. Gabriel and Saliba combined have got 2 yellow cards. Van Dijk has got 3 yellow cards. So all 3 of those players combined have 5 yellow cards. Romero has 8 and 2 red cards. Is it because Tottenham are defending so much? Well, I looked into Van de Ven as well. He's only got 6 yellow cards. He's only made 16 fouls this season compared to Romero's 28. Maybe he's just not that good. Maybe he's just not as good as what we think he is. I'm just saying, maybe. No, there's people out there that will say he's world class. He's won a World Cup and blah, blah, blah. There's Argentina. Lo Celso won a World Cup, didn't he? Did he go there? I can't remember if he went, but he's Argentinian. Is he world class? Well, I wouldn't say he's world class. There's Argentina players out there that are not world class, but they still won a World Cup. So yeah, for me, it's just, it's really frustrating that the amount of protection Romero's getting because he called out the board. And like I've just explained, he called out the board for his own selfish reasons. He's not caring about Spurs. And to down tools, this is the worst season, by the way, for discipline that he's ever had, if games to card ratio, by the way. And he's captain this year. So he's chosen the year he's captain to have the worst disciplinary record, the most errors in a season, by the way. And this is the worst season Spurs have had. This is worse than last season. Last season, we won a trophy. This season, we're not going to win a trophy. But I think this season, we're close, so close to relegation. It's absolutely unreal. If Van de Ven was world class and Romero was world class and Porro's world class and your doggy's a top player and Paulinho's a great player and Kudos is a great player and Xavi Simons is a great... Why are we 6 points from relegation then? Now you'll say, well, it's Thomas Frank. Okay, it might be Thomas Frank, but Thomas Frank weren't here last season. And we lost 22 games, remember? And that was all Ange, remember? So which one is it? Is it the players or is it the manager? Because at the moment, I honestly believe we're overrating these players, protecting them way too much. The manager always takes the fall for this, by the way, and the players get off it scot-free. Do you think these players will stay here if we get relegated? Honestly, which players do you think will stay if we get relegated? The youth players, maybe, the younger players. Romero will be gone. Van de Ven will be gone. I don't even think Vuskovic will end up staying with us if we got relegated. It might be a clause in his contract. There might be clauses in other people's contracts. So they might be gone as well. Like, this is serious, people. This is serious. We're protecting players like Romero, who's calling out the board, but we're not actually realizing the severity. He's a massive part of this relegation battle, by the way. He's played all the games other than the ones he's been suspended for. And we're bottom 6. No, yeah, bottom 5, I think now. Crystal Palace has overtaken us. Crystal Palace lost all the best players. They were above us in the league. Leeds just came up last season. They're equal with us. Nottingham Forest, that their worst season in a long time, are only 3 points behind us. West Ham, this is the worst West Ham side I've seen in many years before they got relegated the last time. And they're 6 points behind us. And they beat us. And Forest beat us. And Burnley drew with us. This is more serious than people think. And people are calling me negative, and you shouldn't be making videos like this. You should be upbeat. You should get behind the team, get behind the players, get behind the manager. Get behind what? Week in, week out, we're getting let down by these same people that we're supposed to be supporting. And remember what I said at the beginning of the video. I understand Enoch have not supported this team. I understand there's a massive amount of injuries, and that's going to cause massive problems. But the players we had against Burnley were, on paper, easily good enough to win that game, and they didn't. We were doing well against Man United until Romero again let us down, like he did against Liverpool. Remember his stats that I said earlier, 28 fouls he's made because he's out of position. He's not quick enough. He's hot-headed. This is the reason why he's getting yellow cards. Because maybe he's just not as good as people are saying he is. Just saying. That's my opinion. But I know people are going to say the absolute opposite, and I know it. But for me, he's not world-class. He's nowhere near world-class. He's not consistent enough to be world-class. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Christian Romero is world-class? I accept your whatever you say, because it's subjective at the end of the day, you know, and I'm not going to be saying, well, you're wrong and whatever. This is what you think. But this is just my opinion. Are we overrating these players way too much? Thank you for watching, and come on, you Spurs.